I finally received all the parts necessary to finish the Motorola, and as you see, I made a small inventory of the stuff that needs to be built into the Motorola. And first of all, there is the electrolytic, and I used two pen type capacitors of 47 microfarads, so very thin electrolytics but long, of 47, and one normal type 33 microfarad electrolytic for instead of the 30, the required 30. So the values are slightly higher than what is required, but unfortunately neither 40 nor 30 microfarad capacitors are available, or if there are, they are old stock, new old stock, and I prefer to use new capacitors. These ones are rated up to 105 degrees Celsius, so they should do fine. And they are also rated for 250 volts instead of the required 150. So that's good. So that's one thing I'll need to do. That's to rebuild the electrolytic. Then, true to my word, I'll build in a fuse, or well, a fuse holder and a fuse into the radio. I haven't decided yet how or where I'm going to build it in, but I'm going to obviously try to build it in with doing as little damage as possible to the original design. Then there is another detail that I need to take care of, and that's this grounding wire, which is attached to the chassis. As you can see, it's not extremely long, and it's supposed to be attached to the backside of the radio, which is made out of metal. So I think it's purely for grounding purposes. Now, if you open up the casing of the radio, well, the cabinet I should say, this wire turns out to be, well, maybe 5 or 10 centimeters too short. So I'm going to replace it just to make opening and servicing the radio a little bit easier. Also, what I need to do is obviously clean, give the cabinet a good cleaning, but, and that is a little bit of a problem, I need to attach the chassis to the cabinet. Now, mind you, normally it's attached via a few screws on the front. Hang on, I'll give you a view of it. So if I carefully rotate the whole thing, as you can see on the front of the cabinet, next to the shafts of the volume control and the tuning button, you can see smaller holes. And in fact, through those little holes, you can put screws which bind, as it were, the chassis to the front of the cabinet. Now obviously, although the chassis isn't extremely heavy, it is a bit heavy to be hanging from 3 small screws. So I am going to, well, you see there, it's on the tuner side, it's attached to the tuner capacitor. And on the other side, it's not even attached to the chassis, but simply to the front of the cabinet. So I am going to have to find a way to attach the chassis permanently and safely to the cabinet. Now, you can see these 2 screws here, one on the left and one on the right, and my guess is originally they held two clips, one here and one here, which push on this rail of the PCB and push it and hold it to the front of the cabinet, while giving it also support from the bottom. Now, the point is that I think I don't have those clips any longer. I looked for it in amongst the parts I have of the radio. I collected all the disassembled parts in a zipper bag, a plastic zipper bag, and I don't have any clips. So that will be a bit of a problem. So I'll probably end up constructing some sort of holder clips myself, which shouldn't pose that big a problem, but is, in my opinion, absolutely necessary. Also, the next thing is that I will have to build in the speaker. Now, as you can see, the speaker was held on to 4 tabs on the front of the cabinet, and they used those very infamous clips which you press down onto the plastic and which clamp themselves and the speaker. Here you see one through the plastic, and they clamp, or they are supposed to clamp, the speaker down to the front of the cabinet. But I'm seriously considering not to use those clips because, well, first of all, they are ugly. They also easily damage the plastic of the cabinet, and frankly they are a pain to remove if I should ever have to service the speaker of the radio. Well, that is, if I will keep the radio for myself. Well, and any future owner for that matter. Also, I need to reattach the antenna coil, which is built around a ferrite rod. Now, originally the ferrite rod was located in this spare room here at the top of the radio, and was held in place by some very cheap cardboard tubing, which you also see in this bag, in the zipper bag. But, well, okay, it's the original thing, but I'm not so sure I really want to use that. Or if I reuse the tubing, the cardboard tubing that was supposed to hold in the antenna coil, then I'm just going to use it again as a well, you could say an embellishment, yes, just to keep it as authentic as possible. But I'm going to find a much more secure and much more solid way to secure the ferrite rod of the antenna coil to the cabinet, because frankly I'm really not at all inclined to use the old cardboard tubing solution. So that will also be needed to tackle. And then finally, when all is remounted, after the cleaning and remounting all the parts, etc., maybe I might have to give the radio one more alignment, just to make sure that it runs satisfactorily. Now, this will all take a while, but I intend to make a few update shots in between to show you my progress with reassembling the radio. Now, I think by watching the statistics of my videos that quite a few of you don't like very long, drawn out videos, so I'll keep it short and sweet this time, and I'll just show the essential steps, and that'll be it. So let me try to make it short and snappy so that it's not too boring for you to watch. So hang on tight, there's an update coming soon.